Everybody read the minutes? Make a motion to accept the minutes of March.
Hi, Bryant.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Passed. Or any nays? Passed. Okay.
Carried.
All right, for old business, I got a 239 committee looked at, the land trust people, had no problem with it. State DOT had no problem with it, but they are giving, the land trust people warning that they're gonna be rebuilding that bridge on 12 shortly, but they have no problem with the driveway is and what they're doing.
Around 12 there.
Around 12 there, that's why, Martha from Richard Place. Anyway, so, can we make a public hearing for
Me?
May 20th for the land trust people?
Let's do it.
You will take care of that, Gary?
Yes.
Okay, for the ones who weren't at the town board meeting, I think there's a little breakdown, because somehow our last motion, our last meeting, they combined a new proposal for Gary Lake and land, and the towers, and the staging area, and the noise, to the same package, and put me into a spot where I really didn't know what they were talking about. Yes.
When you get through, I'll just comment on it and phrase that. Like me doing now?
Well, yeah, basically, they were firing questions at me and I didn't know what to talk about, because I thought, they were asking me if we talked about it at our last meeting, and I said, no, we didn't. No, but they wanted to know, haven't we talked about it in the past? Well, I was talking about the last meeting. So, anyway, so, I'd like to tonight readdress it.
Okay, when I made the motion and last time, and 4 of us agreed, Ken abstained and we didn't vote. I made a fairly general, the motion basically said the language in the zoning would remain the same and the boundaries would remain the same. Going to the town board meeting, they had some problem. I think what Ken was talking about perhaps a little bit addressing is that they looked at, they didn't seem to have any, they didn't have any problem with that part of it. With keeping that as, which is main 2 points I was trying to make. But it was pointed out, and I think rightfully so, before I was on this board, the board worked hard and come up with a noise ordinance and a cell tower, which I know absolutely nothing about, either one of them. And they, is my understanding from listening to the town board meeting, they wanted to refer those 2 things back to us to get final action to get ready for public meetings, correct?
Right.
So, I have absolutely no problem with that. And now if I need to change my motion to make it more narrow, or do we have to re-vote on that again? Or just stay as long as
I think what Lawrence,
we're happy with.
well, I think what Lawrence is looking for is to reestablish a motion and take a vote on it, and basically keeping the tower, the cell towers, the noise, the staging area, and the words change we made, all right, separate from
Right, and that's
the
yeah.
Gary Lake situation.
Well, it's not just Gary Lake, it's
Unfortunately,
it's our period.
Yeah.
It's not just Gary Lake.
did Ron ever mention the name of that project?
Say it again?
Did Ron ever mention the name of his project or what he was doing with Gary Lake?
I believe he was working on the
Yeah, but
boundaries with
Yeah,
Ken.
but
That was
did he give that a name, that project?
not
no.
that I
Well,
know.
we just say changing our 2 boundaries or something like that.
All right, well, then we'll keep that.
Okay.
So you can just add
So-
that to your motion.
So I guess without, let me do it and then you can rewrite it as I write. I'd just like to make the boundary as the same thing as last week essentially, except more narrowly, that the zoning language will remain the same, and the boundaries will remain the same. Just specifically those things for now. And then you will readdress, cell towers and the noise ordinance, right?
Well, we move forward with the cell
Move
tower.
forward with these things which have already been received by them.
Right.
Because I've talked to, and I've expressed my concern with the enforcement to Lawrence on this noise ordinance, and he doesn't seem to have a problem with it. So if he doesn't have a problem with it.
Well, the time we spent on it, and matter of fact,
Sure, that's fine, and I wasn't here.
I finally got the final package that they were telling me all along, the lawyer had it, and
Yeah, and I didn't mean to be presumptuous and throw out work that people had spent a lot of time working on before I was even here. And Joan, I don't think, Joan, or I, we don't know anything about this noise ordinance, really.
Well, all we did last time was look at boundaries in the map,
Right,
and
we were talking about boundaries,
That's all
and
I
we were talking about.
I didn't know what
I
the
had no
suburb was gonna
clue
be.
about
Right,
Well,
so we'll make it more narrow,
right.
and we're talking about boundaries and changes in the wording. We don't want prohibit, we're gonna stay with the existing language on the RRs.
and move forward with.
Move forward with the
towers. Okay.
tower and the noise ordinance. And then, obviously, the staging area is gonna
Staging
be,
area-
that's gonna be a whole new,
Well, the staging, it was all part, it's all in the new package already.
Is
The
it?
new wording is already, set up in there already.
I would, that's one thing my mistake, I haven't read that staging area, but I do wanna look at that staging area, because I have some major concerns about
It's
that.
basically staging area, and also I got a letter from this lady here today saying it's already in our rules and regulations in different spots. So the few words that they added in there, it's just adding to what they have already.
The existing laws that are already in there,
Yeah.
there's
just-
existing, so we already have zoning on,
It's,
yeah.
they have to come, they can't just do bizarre and do the staging area, they have to come to us.
I looked it up.
Right. They have to come to us and do a.
okay, the only, and I'm talking a little unfamiliar ground here, the only problem I have in thinking about this staging area stuff is if the staging area has to be approved by this board or the town board, which would we do it or the town board? We would do it. You can't have a pipe laying line, or you can't have a drilling
Okay.
site without a staging area, correct?
They can be putting a pipe on top of, Tyner Hill, but they can put a staging area down here.
But what
The
if,
staging area is basically the area which they would be keeping their equipment and supplies.
but what if you got a board that, let's talk what we're talking about, is the drilling. What if you get a board that is anti-drilling, for example? So, and they say, you know, we have the final say, we're not gonna approve any staging areas. Doesn't that just shut down the whole project?
She's really up on it. Can I?
The staging area doesn't mention.
You read up in the
drilling,
laws
it
and that,
just
on it,
says
on it,
for-
what you sent us?
No, but I'm saying is
Can
that
you
they
answer
Yeah, I'm
they
happy
want a
to.
staging area for drilling, right?
Richard, she's very up on it.
You have a question about,
It says
The
right
staging
here,
area.
Rich.
it's just that, our current
Something's
zoning
falling there.
already gives the town planning board and the town, zoning board of appeals
A review
a
process.
review, or,
But don't you and, didn't you, and-
Pat,
from, based on your letter, didn't you and, Jerry Locke have a disagreement on that?
well, we
What-
didn't
what the-
have the ordinance in front of us, we were talking at the meeting.
But he,
So-
but I haven't seen that he agrees with your opinion.
I don't know if he does or he
Your letter.
doesn't, but as I said, I'm not an attorney.
Everybody got her letter, right?
I'm not an
Yeah.
attorney, and I'm hoping that the town planning board might recommend to the town board
But if-
to get
But if-
a legal
but
opinion on
this stuff is,
Oh, legal,
is
yeah.
fine, but I'm talking about if you get into, just hypothetical, maybe I'm way out in left field. But what if you had a board here that didn't want drilling? And they have to have staging areas to drill, right, you gotta have to staging. And what if the town, the village board, or the planning board says, we're not gonna approve any
We,
planning area?
whenever we review anything, we should have reasons and we should list them. And if we denied it to a customer, then they can, ask for another appeal process. Sometimes, once or twice, they brought an attorney in to help
Would they
them with
appeal
their
it to who?
cause.
Is this a revised?
To us.
I'm gonna.
Yes.
I just downloaded.
You're appealing it to
Zoning
the,
board
you're
of
appealing it to
appeals.
the same board,
Okay,
right?
so I'll give it to you.
Or the zoning board. of
Or the
appeals.
zoning board of appeals.
Okay,
if it's-
I'm not,
yeah.
I won't pursue it anymore, but it just
Yeah.
concerns me that, I've got that.
Yeah.
No, this is the brand new one.
That's a brand new one,
This is the
yeah.
one, as a matter of fact,
It just concerns me.
You've got that one.
Yeah, I've got one. It just concerns me that if somebody wanted to be unreasonable,
Yeah.
they
Well, you
could
can run
literally
into
shut
that
down.
with anything.
Well, but nothing raises,
Yeah.
in this town, as you know, nothing has raised the
Interest.
arguments. The two sides have been
Yeah.
polarized, like, we're not talking about putting in a junkyard, we're
Yeah.
talking about drilling, which has got both sides.
Yeah.
I would hate to see somebody be able to do something on a peripheral that would shut the whole program down. It seems to me it could theoretically
Yeah.
happen. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
You read in the, do you folks get the state newsletter yet from, New York State Planning? I think you will automatically, but you read where once in a while a planning board, buckles down and resists something, and the town board can overrule them too. We don't have much legal responsibility that the town board couldn't overrule.
But
Okay,
with
this
that-
has, the new
Yeah.
one has material staging area.
Yeah, but what does that mean?
that's basically.
Any
That would be
construction.
any construction area where you would have a staging, so that
But-
would fall into that.
But it could be.
But this is under the special exception,
It's-
which is where the drilling for gas and oil is too.
Yeah, but so what if they come and they apply for it and they say no? What if the plan, not the plan,
Well,
say it goes to the town board, what if the
That
town
or
board says we're
anything
not?
else, if the planning board says no, you can go to another reappeal, or you can go to the town board with your cause.
I think he's saying
Yeah.
if we say
The
yes,
town board's the
they
final
say
say,
no.
the town, what if the
Yeah.
town board has changed? A couple different
Then they have
elections, a
to
couple
appeal.
different people got elected on the town board.
I
You
think
end up on anti-drilling.
There's an appeal decision after that.
They're
I
gonna
read
sit
in
there
here
and say,
someplace.
we're not gonna allow,
I
Yeah,
will say one thing, they brought it up at the town board meeting. There was some decisions on subdivisions that the planning board turned down, the town board turned it down, turned into a lawsuit, and the town lost.
you know, which, do we wanna get involved in that?
Well, is that,
It
see,
would.
so a person can go that far. So, let me tell you, we got a little bit of writing there to give us a little start to work with, right? It's not saying, usually all anti-people saying no. The town board
I'm just saying,
anti-
I'm strictly hypothetical.
Okay, I'm gonna say, you know, and they can say no, and the town board can say no, you know the gas company's gonna sue them,
Yeah.
all right?
Was that, is that where we wanna be?
Well,
Is that
Well,
where,
we-
that situation we wanna get into?
we've said no before, and it almost always sticks. But once in a while it doesn't, if the customer
Yeah, but we're-
is interested
But I think,
enough
Ken, you
to-
gotta, I just think we gotta remember, we're not talking about the normal issues, we're talking about
Yeah.
something that's pretty well
More
polarized
interest
this,
than
and
normal,
it's totally
yeah.
polarized this community.
Yeah,
One thing I would say, Paul, based on the letter we all received, and I went to the town board, and Jerry Locke's opinion differed from the young lady.
Mina,
I would say that subject, I think we should table that
well,
until
the problem
the
is,
next,
it's,
till the town, I talked to Wilcox today, he didn't know which is right, her, or, what's her name? Mina, or Jerry's right, so I think,
well, the thing is, it's already gone to the town attorney, he's been approved it, and the next step is a public hearing, which the town is pushing for. That's why they want clarification on your motion, so they can move forward with this.
well, we can move forward. We don't even have to, you don't have to backtrack on this motion,
Well, they want
because the town board gave us a direction to
told us
go.
what to go on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the problem is somehow this whole thing got was combined into one big package.
Yeah.
I gotta explain to you.
Yeah.
Four parts of it. The three parts is the part which we wanna keep
They're
going.
telling us to keep going with what was written,
I
and sent to the
See, I thought-
attorney.
I thought at that point meeting that they had separated the
No.
cell tower in the noise regulations were one,
Well, that's what,
she's not in her head yet. They were separated as one issue that they wanted us to immediately
Well,
address,
that's what-
and the staging area was for further consideration.
All right in the same
no,
thing.
what they want, it's in
That is what they
there.
said at the
See,
town
it's
board
all right
meeting.
in the same thing.
I'm talking about the town board meeting,
Yeah,
when they looked at the motion. Didn't they say the cell tower and the noise, they wanted us to refer back to this board to push forward? And then I thought they had,
What was
then
it?
wanted us to discuss the staging area.
No, that was the four parts what they wanted to move ahead with.
Okay,
The three parts. It was tower, staging area, and noise. Move forward with it, and the corrections and the different wording they had in it, all right? That's what they will move forward. They want to go to a public hearing with this,
okay.
all right? So.
Did Lawrence call you? He was gonna try to come
Talk to
tonight.
him? No, I talked to him.
Okay.
I told him what we're gonna be doing tonight, discussing, and he says there's no need for him to come.
Okay.
So, so you got how he wants to put his.
I got it.
I need a second.
I'd like to read that.
Well,
what
Can you
does it
write
say?
that and I can read it?
Oh, well,
That's exactly what we said last time, essentially
yeah.
exempting,
Exempting the cell
If we-
towers, staging area, and noise.
Yeah, let's talk about the motion a minute. As I understood it, the motion would be to proceed with the ordinance as written up 2 months ago. The attorney got it, you all got it to read. That's what they wanna go with. Is that what you understood?
not,
No, it's
No.
not the same.
no, exempting, with no boundary changes and no changing in the
That was
boundary.
not
order.
in the
No,
original
that's
boundary
what,
change.
no, but that's what they,
So we don't need to exempt it. If we take the zoning ordinance as presented to the attorney and town board, 2-3 months ago, whenever it was, we can get a date. That's what I understood that they wanted to go with.
Right, that's what the three topics is the tower, staging area, and the noise. That's what they want clearly stated they're gonna move forward with.
Yeah, they're all in there. They have been right along.
Right, but that's the
so
point.
you're saying there's no the need to mention the motion that was made that we will table any further discussion of, I think that should be included. The motion has also been made that just at this time, we will table any discussion of zoning, zoning and boundary changes.
I don't believe you need to. If
Well,
we
I-
go back to the,
What-
if we say we're going.
I'd feel more comfortable with that. That's what we voted, that's exactly what we voted on last time unanimously,
Well,
right? But I'd feel much better if that was put in writing.
we don't need to look backwards, I don't think too much. If the town board has given us a direction and we understand it,
Yeah,
we've
but
got
that's
it.
what- But that's what the problem came into. Somehow,
You
this
weren't
whole thing got put into a big package. That's why I want to clarify and spell out each individual thing.
There was nothing put in the package that was approved by the attorney and town board,
No,
2
somehow.
or 3 months ago.
Somehow, when it left here,
Yeah.
and went to the town board, they got put this here and the Gary Lake thing got put into one big package.
After they saw that and the attorney saw that and the town board approved that, then some ideas came up for other changes. One of which was the boundaries on the residential areas, but it never got put in that. It was just chewed on along with this.
But the problem is-
Some people
But the-
felt we
but
should
But
put it
but
in.
they told us, the town board told us to chew on it.
Yes, they did.
And I'm answering,
They're chewing.
I want us to answer that we chewed on it,
Yeah.
and we're making a recommendation
To follow what they told us to do.
to,
No.
no, we're making
No.
a recommendation,
No,
we're making a recommendation that we table any further discussion on
the zone.
boundaries and language in the zoning boundaries. That,
Yeah, you,
And
I wanna, we're sending them, that's part of what they charge us, so we're not, we wanna freeze that as is. I think that should be put, that's what the original motion was sent to them,
yeah.
and this stuff is fine.
Proceed with the rest of it.
But move forward with the.
Move
cell
forward
tower.
with the other stuff.
That's his motion.
I want that,
How are you gonna describe the other stuff?
So basically,
let's call that as was approved by the town board and the attorney. How about that?
I don't care, you can specify.
Well, you
It's
can-
not it's not a whole lot,
Well,
Label cell tower.
it's not a hell lot of
Noise.
writing, cell tower,
Noise
No,
noise
ordinance.
ordinance and
Staging,
staging.
just list them, those
list
are,
them.
Those
That's
are
one
the
sentence.
things
those
to
we're
proceed.
willing
That's
to
a
let
total of one
go, and the
sentence.
rest of it stays the same.
There's only one sentence.
Okay, as the town board requested in their April meeting. Is that a good way to start?
No, I would start as, you read it right, I would write start in, the town board charged the planning board to look at the zoning, blah,
To
blah, blah.
study the,
well, basically what Warren said,
Just the
he
motion
wanted us to readdress it.
stands.
Readdress, right.
As the April meeting, the Lawrence Wilcox asked us to readdress Richard's motion and to clarify the motion itself, but it's not, he wants to split that package up, so we move forward with this, so. Yeah, so Lawrence Wilcox asked us to move forward, to readdress Richard's motions. Richard's motion is now being altered to what he just said, all right?
The new motion, readdressing at the town board's request for readdress, the planning board, Richard Anthony made a motion in response to the town board, and the motion states, word it the way you want to, but that the boundaries and language concerning RR areas will remain as is at the present time, and we will go forward with the cell tower, the noise ordinance, and the staging area. That's it. Does that sound reasonable? Yeah.
Did you change? The
We
wording,
changed.
the wording in here was not changed on the
That's what I'm trying to
boundaries.
say.
I think that's what Ken's trying to say. What Ron brought
He
was.
wanted
is-
to change it.
He wanted to change
And
it.
I'm saying, and I'm
But
just
it's
saying.
it's not changed in here, and this is
No.
what we're reviewing. This is what they wanna go forward with for public hearing.
Well, basically, the way they were looking at it at the town board meeting, with that letter was sent to them, was to alter everything, including this.
They ask us
We
to
never
consider
talked about
changing
the
the
cell
thing.
tower.
I'm saying,
No.
We're not
we're
going
choosing
to.
not to change it.
But that's
Which-
how we got into, put into a package.
That's what I'm saying.
But this is written with it not changed.
Yeah, but I'm
It's
just
already
saying,
been reviewed,
but it.
if I understand Ken right. It was never changed in
Right,
here.
right.
It was Ron's suggestion to
Right,
change
Rod
it.
and Ken were gonna,
Right.
study it.
and
Study it and possibly
Ron
change
made
it.
suggestions.
And
so
we,
a lot of
you
things.
made a motion not to change it, which,
Well, that-
we all
I would
agree
just
that.
like to
Right.
put in writing as part of the motion, that's all.
And you'd get that tonight if we go with the new upgraded ordinance as written and presented and approved by the town board and the attorney 3 months ago.
Why do you have a problem with me, with a motion stating?
Because it's unnecessary.
Does it hurt?
Yeah, but that's what got us into the problem.
We were at the board meeting. Paul and I were at the board meeting.
I know it.
and
They
so-
were firing questions, I mean, I have no answers for.
So,
Just,
Well,
with
Because
the
we
exception
didn't-
of
because we
blah,
didn't
blah, blah,
talk
blah,
about
blah.
that the
We'll go
last
forward
time.
with it.
All I can say is, if you come to every planning board meeting, and if you read the literature that was handed to you, there wouldn't have been questions.
No.
Everybody was asked to pick up that ordinance at the hardware store, and I delivered it to your house, and all these questions are because you guys didn't look
No,
at that.
that's not the point, Ken. The questions they asked me was, did we discuss at the last planning board meeting about the cell phone towers? No.
Why should we? It's all been
They
approved.
clumped it, that's why.
They clumped it, they
The
clumped
town board has clumped it all into one
package. and
No, the town board didn't, we didn't, and presented it to the town
But-
board months
well,
ago.
Ken, we
And you
did,
got a copy of
there
it.
was no, until I made the motion, there was no end to the suggestion that we
Right.
change the boundaries.
Yeah, that
You,
was,
that was an
the good
ongoing
that
thing.
came out of that motion.
So the motion was putting an end to this discussion, so we didn't waste any more time
Agreed,
on it.
yeah.
That's why I wanna put down that we've decided no changes will be made in the boundaries on the RR or the language concerning the RR. Put that down and say we will go forward at the board's request with the cell towers, the noise ordinance and the
Mhm.
staging. What's
Paul,
wrong?
can I,
with all of them.
can I
Yeah, Mina.
interject? I was at the board meeting, I also did a word-for-word transcription, so I know exactly what was said at that meeting. And the town board, and I think you probably should get clarification before you take a vote on this, but the town board asked you to go forward with the cell tower regulations and the noise ordinance only.
That's what I thought.
Only.
That's correct.
I didn't understand that.
And everything else, because you asked for clarification towards the end of the meeting, and everything else,
The stable.
Wilcox said, let's just hold off on that for now.
That's what I thought I heard.
Very good. If they don't mention that, the staging areas in this already, and it holds this whole thing up.
I don't know.
I don't, how does it hold it up, because it's already here?
It's in the new one, but it's not in the old one.
Yeah.
What Ken has to do is tease out the noise and the,
Well, it doesn't say anything about noise here. I haven't seen noise.
It's in there.
It's in the back
Whole
section.
the
section.
noise and the cell
And
towers.
it should be in the index in the
Cell-
front.
But I thought
See, that's why.
Wind power is there,
That's right.
it's to stop the discussion.
swimming
Which
pool,
I understand.
utility towers,
But
And the other stuff we're going forward, because that's what the board was supposed to do for us.
So basically,
wind power.
if we don't, the other part is the word changes, there's a whole bunch of word changes in here, all right? But if we block one thing in this whole package, then it's tabled.
Third page in on the index.
That's why they wanna
where to
cover
go for
all-
noise.
Okay, the only thing I'm confused about, Paul, is I talked to Wilcox 2 hours ago, and I asked him, addressing the letter that I received
Towards the
yesterday,
bottom, too.
and he didn't even know who was right. Which was, who was it, this young lady was right, or he was, or Jerry was right. So there's obviously some
Well,
argument whether it's prohibited
I'm sure they
or
dis-
whether it's not.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
sure they discussed it and
I talked to him
probably
tomorrow.
weren't or all in agreement on
No, Jerry,
whether we should change and whether we
they
shouldn't.
didn't even know whether it's under the, did you read the letter?
Yes.
All right, so if you, why don't we just put, because basically what they wanna do is they wanna get this package moving, all right? We spent 2-3 years on this, all right? So if you don't wanna break it down by each individual things, then we refer to this for the approved package that the lawyers approved
In the town board,
and the town board.
right.
Move forward with the package of the town board,
Right.
with the planning board, the town board, and the town attorney approved. Move forward with that package and bring it to a public hearing. How does that sound?
Very good.
That's your motion.
But is my motion being, is that putting in what I said
Add
about?
it to your but not move, I can't really say how to, you gotta tell
No,
them.
I'm saying, are we still gonna say, along with moving this forward, there will be no, at the present time, there'll be no further action taken concerning boundaries or
Yeah.
language concerning RR. I want that put in there.
I personally think it's unnecessary
I don't-
if we
what-
say we're going ahead with it,
what-
but
Clarify.
But it stops the discussion here. The next meeting, Ron, or somebody could come in and say, I wanna further discuss what we were
Yeah.
talking about on the boundaries.
yeah.
The motion says we're not gonna talk about the boundaries.
Or any other change issue.
Changes in the RR. I would appreciate putting that in, cause that's what we passed last time. Otherwise, we could come right back in here, and somebody come back and say, well, let's talk about
What I'll
the
do,
not if this goes to public hearing. I mean, it's,
the town board sets a public hearing, yeah, and the Department of State has to approve it too. Look at your minutes in the morning, here's what I'm gonna try to put in there. Town board requested that we move forward with the package as approved by the town board and attorney, and at this time we will not study any further changes to the proposed ordinance, proposed new ordinance or something like that. How's that sound?
That doesn't,
It still doesn't address
It doesn't
specifically. I
address
don't know
the
why
issue.
you're so afraid of being specific about that.
Well, it's just unnecessary.
Well,
it doesn't matter, just do it.
Yeah.
just do it.
That's his
I think
motion,
we have a
so-
We
majority
got
here.
in trouble last time with a motion that you didn't understand because of the timing and that stuff, and I don't believe anybody else understood it. And I tried to soften it up a little bit, and you corrected me, which I shouldn't have done, but,
I disagree with that.
okay, you write the motion and, before the meeting's over, and we'll talk about it, and I'll put it in the way you
But
folks agree.
making the recommendation, just one last thing, the making the recommendation I made did not mean, and I didn't suggest in that the town board had to take every possible thing and just treat.
Yeah,
That's why I
That you
said
didn't wanna
recommend.
throw out
They could
everything.
take what they want,
Yeah.
parts of it, if they thought some of it was, which they did. They thought stopping the boundary changes until the state come out with their regulations, stopping the boundaries and the zoning regulations was a good idea. They thought because all the work that had gone into the other things, they wanted to proceed with. To me, that was a perfect scenario. They picked and choose what they thought was a good idea, and what they thought was a bad idea.
Yeah, it's good. We can move it along now, I think.
Oh, we have to get a vote on it. And we gotta know we're voting on it, that's all. That's just.
All you gotta do is write what we're doing and write down, there will be no further discussion at
That's it.
this time.
Excuse me, my wife's babysitting, I'll be right back.
And I just, I know exactly what you're saying, Paul, but as a young lady said, she got the exact same inference that I got out of that town board meeting, that they were separating the town and the noise and the cell from the staging area. Well, if it had to hold up one more month, so what? To get a clarification on it.
The town attorney looked at it already,
Okay,
he approved it. So,
so he approved it, but Wilcox doesn't even know exactly what it is, because he told me that today.
What do
It's
you
in there.
wanna do now?
So basically, we need, write his motion down, like he said it, and then we gotta vote on it.
Okay, his motion is what?
That we make the motion that the RR boundaries and language remain as is. What we go forward with the zoning, or the cell towers and noise as presented previously.
Or you can say
Yeah, you
the
put all
approved
three.
package that the board's approved, and the lawyers approved.
I mean, I think we're just arguing semantics here.
Yeah, I know, do you just wanna say the RR2 study will be discontinued now? Or?
The boundaries and language will remain the same, as is. Presently is. And that, to me, what that is, because we're gonna get, when the state comes down with the regulations, they're gonna tell us what to do to begin with.
One more time, and then I promise I won't say it again. If we recommend proceeding with that as approved, it's unnecessary to mention RR or any other studies
Just
that
do me a
were
favor,
done.
will you make me feel good and write that down for me?
But there was a whole bunch of studies, suggestions, still snowing. There was a whole bunch of suggestions that came up in the 2 or 3 months, and we aren't gonna do any of them, but if you wanted,
I would like it done. It was approved unanimously by the board, exactly what I'm saying, so it's not changing anything from last month.
Just clarifying.
It's clarifying and separating it from those.
okay. All right, RR2 study, boundaries.
Concerning boundaries and wording will remain as is.
All right. Okay, look in your minutes in the morning, it won't go to anybody except you 6 people, and see if you like the way it
Well, we
comes
gotta
out.
vote on it now, right?
We have a second.
We gotta vote on something, don't we?
What does
What are we
it say?
voting on?
What does it say?
says RR2 study will remain, will be discontinued, the boundaries and wording will remain as is. We're gonna proceed with the upgrade package as presented to the town board and approved, and the town attorney approved.
Sounds good.
Oh, second. All in favor? Any against?
And you want credit for the motion, Richard?
For the hearing nays? Any abstains?
Carry.
Carries.
Good.
We'll move along.
Easier to bear.
Brian, you wanna say anything?
Yeah, can someone,
You're gonna add to the fire or what?
excuse me?
You're gonna add to the
I'm
fire?
not gonna try to stir it up as much as I can. I'm a little concerned because Mina actually, agreed with something together, so think I'm missing something. Yeah, you threw me a loop there. Can someone define staging areas? When you say a staging area, what is it? What is the definition of your staging area?
We did in the definitions.
Yeah, haven't.
Apparently, from what I
Got
got,
access.
little feedback I got, the people who went to Pennsylvania, seen these large lots, fenced-in lots, where they had their equipment and their supplies stored. So basically, what they were like to, if a company wants to come and do these staging areas, they come to the planning department and discuss it. Gives us a chance to put our input in it. This is where they got the staging area from.
Yeah, and it is defined in the upgrade
Good.
as a material storage area.
Okay, so when you say a material storage area, it's not specific to any industry?
No.
Okay, so it could be agriculture storing fertilizer, or
Construction
loggers storing
site,
logs?
Yeah, big logging site.
Okay,
yeah.
so it's a staging area is pretty loosely defined, correct?
Well, yeah, but again, the zoning ordinance is a layman's document written by laymen. The intention is pretty clear if you read it, but you can pick a whole lot of it apart if you wanna, you know, and sometimes you lose, sometimes you win when you get scrapping over what the definitions are.
Bryant, it says temporary material storage. That's what they got.
Okay, all right.
Temporary
Sometimes if
material
you
storage.
define it tighter, I think you're in more trouble than
Correct.
if you leave it general.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's I've spent a lot of time on researching staging areas. I had the opportunity this weekend to go in an airplane, small Piper Cub, and we went from just over the border down to Williamsport. We took a course of 210 degrees southwest. Either side of us, 10 miles either side of us, there was well pads, and I've got over 200 and some photos from aerials, so you can see a lot of the different things that are taking place down there. Actually, pretty clean. I was impressed. One area I thought that looked pretty bad. I was like, geez, if that's a spacing unit or a drilling pad, we don't want this here. And that ended up being where they tore down a factory, and it just laid there.
Oh.
So, yeah, so anyway, but I also had the opportunity to talk to some folks the last couple of days here, and call some companies. Today I talked to some engineers on staging areas to define exactly what they would, this is the gas industry, would consider a staging area, and how the laws and regulations affect them. Number one, no industry would come to your town, this is the gas industry, and just put up a staging area. They'd first come to the board and request to find out if there's any type of permits or anything that's needed before they even think about it. Okay, so there's a whole process they have. And then they're also governed, as we know, by the DEC, so they can't just come in and put chemicals in staging areas. Not only that, to define that even more, they don't put chemicals or anything like that in staging areas. The closest they ever came in New York State for the industry in putting chemicals was cement, dry cement. And it was something they were looking to do out west because they had to plug some wells, so it was dry cement. The staging areas mainly apply to holding areas, temporary holding yards, okay, where they have their pipes and your things like that. Any chemicals are stored on the pad, at the pad, for security purposes and containment purposes. So just to help you understand a little bit more about that industry, there's a whole lot to it, and the folks are more than willing to come and put on a presentation for the boards. Every company I talked to, and it was 3 different companies I talked to.
Apparently what I got from Jerry, he was basically just looking for the word to give us some type of loophole to get them to talk, or to give us a little levering that they can come to us and, well, on our recommendation to build them. Or, let's just say, they decided to build it here, and the neighbor had an objection. So it gave us some leeway to work with it.
Correct, sounds
So
great.
that's why it's really vague, and they just get it, open the door.
All right. I didn't get a chance, thank you for reading that. I didn't get a chance to read over and understand what a stage, what you define the staging area as. And it's nice that it is kept loose, Ken, and understanding business, that's the way it should be. So, thanks again for your time.
Okay, moving along. All right, now we took care of old business, let's start new business. Who needs new books? Who needs books? And who borrowed my book? I thought I had.
The new members should ask the town clerk for a free copy of the zoning ordinance
No, I
and
got,
subdivision,
no, this year, I went back, I got this.
or get them online.
Well, no, I got this all printed up, it's all got the holes in it. I got brand new books. I know we're missing books. Who doesn't have a book?
I don't have a book.
You don't have a book? You said, well, all right. So what I did, I was digging through the drawer that the whole cabinet is for planning board, which I only thought was the top drawer, and I found the main book. So, this is your book.
Master copy.
Master copy.
There'll be a quiz next meeting.
Next meeting?
Did you have a book?
Yes, I did.
I didn't give you
I
my
think-
book.
Thank
Did
you.
I?
No, how, is this newer than I got from?
No,
It's probably the
Same one.
same book.
Yeah, I got it.
And you could, now this package that I gave you guys here has not been approved by the public hearing. So you can't put it in your book, you can eventually take out the old
It's
stuff.
not town law yet.
It's not town law yet.
This is proposed.
Proposed.
Yeah.
And I would replace this one here.
Right. Have you got a book?
So until they have the public hearing, we're not gonna put a revision date on it, that's correct?
No.
Somehow I lost my book. Okay. I will. All right. I did a little homework, and I will tell you this job is turned into a full-time job. With our illustrious county clerk's office. Okay. This is how an application looks when, what I'm proposing. I want to talk about it. I want to get ideas about it.
What are you calling this, Paul? This
This is
is,
gonna be the
Subdivision form.
oh, subdivision forms.
Good enough?
got it in. Basically, it says here, supposed to, the planning board is supposed to get 10 copies. I never see you get 10 copies, do you?
Yeah, some of them are behaving.
All right, we're gonna plan on that. Well, once this is established, well, if you go to the next page, you can see where I made a list here. When the person picks the application up from the town clerk, it goes to the planning board, and this is where I ran into my problem, with our illustrious county county clerk. And I wound up with a meeting with the county clerk, the tax department, and the mapping department. And then, within an hour, they had me a total spin, because they had more suggestions and more this and more that. To the point where,
Babysitting.
to the point when I walked out of there, I said, you know what?
Hello?
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
The mapping department and the taxation department all comes under the county clerk department.
Yeah, you got me, sorry, Nancy.
So,
No, I didn't.
what I've heard from these people for many times, they have to go by home rule. Once we establish something here and the town board approves it, makes it home rule, the county clerk has to obey it. So, I think what, after the town planning board approves it, I think it should go to the county clerk. They see what the application is and what it's supposed to do, and the county clerk's office directs it to whatever department it's under. And then that department signs off on it, and then goes back to the county clerk's office so they can be filed. All right? Now, after it's filed, and this was another problem I ran into. I kept going up there, and I said, when they come up here with the application, where's the application going? They come, what application? Well, our application that we send there does not go to the county clerk. It's just the maps go up there. The maps got the name of the property owner and how it's supposed to be broken up. So, which is, by making this here list, and under the town rule, the home rule, is the application has to follow the maps, zoning maps, not the zoning maps, the survey maps. And then once the county clerk files everything, it gets sent back to the town clerk, where the file will be kept. And we can see how it's done. And then the final approval, they'll come back to the planning board or chairperson to see that this whole application is done,
Was completed.
all right? Because they sent me up there with situations that happen. Apparently, if you have settled on a estate, the lawyer can make up, let's say, a 50-acre parcel. The lawyer can divide it 3 ways, wherever he wants, okay, and make 3 separate deeds, and that deed goes to the county clerk's office, and county clerk documents it, hands it to the mapping department. The mapping department just goes according to what the lawyer said, all right? That's how it gets totally bypassed by this planning board. Now, once we make this permanent, and once we make a home rule, if that lawyer sends it in, and it goes to the county clerk's office, the county clerk can say, where's the application? All right? And they can send the lawyer, send it back to the town. So this is one of the main reasons. So, well, next month, I'd like you guys to talk about it, look at it, give me suggestions, so we can move forward with this. The last page is a county form, which is gonna be part of our package. You know, we've had a couple of subdivisions that are small parcels, and our recommendation was to merge the small parcel into a large parcel. We have no way of knowing if it's done or not. The county doesn't know. The landowner can go up there and say, just divide it off. This was part of the package. So when it gets up there, they know what's gonna be done. So again, look it over, think about it, and give me some input on it. Did anybody do anything with Oxford Committee Survey Report?
Yeah, it's all done.
All done? Okay. This we just, we'll do some input on it. Myself, on the county planning board, the land trust thing went through, nobody had any objections with that. The other subdivision was, they had no objection, there was those 2 large parcels to be divided.
Okay, right.
The county planning board meeting was basically talking about the comp plan that they're working on, which hopefully this year will be finished. And just basically, we were talking about the gas and what's being settled and what to expect and what not to expect. So there's no real movement on that. Ken, you got anything with the?
Was there anything on the railroad?
Nothing on the railroad. You got anything with the farm protection?
What did we do? We had a speaker from New York Land Trust that told us how to get started on the steps for putting land aside for agricultural forever. Talked about the ag tour in July. And the big news, the county got a grant that will nearly cover the cost of a structure to put ag plastics in. We're making progress, slow but steady on that. The advantage of that is it keeps it out of the county landfill. It would be recycled, and hopefully, as the years go by, we get it off the fields and roads blowing around.
If I was still in business, it'd be $26,000 a year. and dragging it to the town zone. That's it on that?
That's, yeah, that was just about it.
Okay, April 28th is a training session for all planning and zoning training officers of Chenango County. And believe it or not, once a year, we're supposed to be certified. I won twice last year. It's basically from 5 o'clock to 8:30. They serve you dinner, soda. But I think we should attend this because this is also about zoning changes. I know we don't have to looking at that.
Is the Department of State that's doing
The
it?
Department of State is doing the training. It's up at the county office, the county training session where they have the county board meetings. Because I've been to 3 or 4 of them. They're quite interesting, and they kind of they'll answer any all questions you need. And I recommend that you guys go. And that's this coming Monday, between 5 o'clock and 8:30.
Week
from Now-
Week from Monday.
2 weeks from yesterday.
Oh, sorry, yes. It's conducted by the state, so I suggest you guys go. I mean,
Where is it?
it's at Chenango County office, and the supervisor's office, chambers.
County office building?
Yeah.
COB.
Okay.
Anything else?
Oh, Jim Blacker, he has a subdivision that Ken's aware of.
All right, Jim Black, I have a subdivision application I applied for, and back in July 13, you guys approved it, I just found out. The only thing I need is these 2 maps stamped that you approved the subdivision.
Okay. This wasn't the one I wanted to add. This is split.
I didn't, yeah, this is a split.
The split, but there's no small sections, right? I don't remember.
No, it was just 65 feet extension, that's all it was. And I just had a survey job, so I'm just extending my land from there to there.
You're making this one piece?
The one parcel, yeah.
Okay. Then I'll give you this form, too. It's the county form, which I was just talking about.
You just can't stamp it?
No, usually I write on here, but now I get the county form, and I'll know exactly what we're doing. I'll do this after the meeting. Anything else? I call adjournment.
When's our next meeting?
Oh, next meeting is, May 20th is a public hearing.
May